Hey guys, I am the Comics Kid 2099 and I'm here to review a graphic novel. This review was originally written as a sample of my reviewing prowess, which I emailed to a website that I will not mention by name. This was about a month ago, and since I never heard back from them, I can only assume that they are not interested in using my reviewing powers, so I decided, since I already had a written condensed version of my thoughts on this book, that I could just use this review for my channel, and that's what I'm gonna do. Marvel rising star Jonathan Hickman is joined by artist Dustin Weaver, who both worked together in this 7-issue miniseries to delve into the previously unexplored history of the comics organization known as S.H.I.E.L.D., which has been in the background and foreground of various Marvel Comics titles since the Silver Age of comics. While S.H.I.E.L.D. has been around since the early 1960s, and there have been a few ongoing features with S.H.I.E.L.D. at the forefront in the 60s and 80s, I don't think the background of how S.H.I.E.L.D. came to be was ever really explored. So I was really excited when I heard what this series was about. Very rarely do I see a series in comics or even in movies or television that feels really new. And while you could arguably say that some of the basics of what Hickman does here aren't really new, saying that famous historical figures were all part of a secret organization feels like it came right out of the Da Vinci Code or National Treasure, this kind of thing is pretty new in Marvel Comics, so I was pretty pumped to see it here. Perhaps what I loved most about this book was the true ensemble feeling that we are treated to. This book is not the adventures of a single character and his interactions with S.H.I.E.L.D. We have that one POV character in the form of Leonid, but this book doesn't feel the need to be constricted by only following Leonid around. We have an entire issue that shows some of the secret exploits of Isaac Newton. We have an issue that shows what Nathaniel Richards and Howard Stark, respective fathers of two well-known Marvel Comics superheroes of the present day, on an adventure of their own. This keeps things new and fresh. Just when you might be about to lose interest in Leonid, we get an issue showing Howard Stark and Nathaniel Richards in the future. This constant shifting gears isn't jarring either. It keeps you invested while also keeping you on the edge of your seat as you're not sure what to expect next. The art by Dustin Weaver is a treat for the eyes. It's like all of Halloween and Christmas in your eyes at once. His style feels like a perfect blend of John Byrne and Barry Windsor Smith. And since I'm a gigantic fan of Byrne, and I really like Windsor Smith as well, this is very good for me, and it's very good for you even if you don't know it yet. Weaver is definitely a guy to keep your eye on, folks. His design and layouts are clean and easy to follow, but he isn't afraid to try new things, and there are some pages where his ideas of how to lay them out alone are almost enough by themselves to make me want to say that you should go and find this book and read it. One major complaint I have with this book is hardly one that can be laid at the feet of the creators. This book ends in a cliffhanger that makes you wish that you had the next installment featuring the architects in your hands right now. And that is only a testament to the talent of Hickman and Weaver, if they make me want the next volume so much. There is a second miniseries that follows up this book, but the last time I checked, it has not yet been collected in trade or hardcover. So if you're like me and you only read comics after they've been collected and bound in some way, then that might be frustrating for you, as it definitely is for me. Another flaw with this book is one that can be laid at the feet of the creators, but I'm still not sure if it should be. This book has many retcons that, if you're a little familiar with the Marvel Universe, might make you sit back and take notice. I'm not going to say that if a story has a retcon that it automatically loses points or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, it depends on the retcon. If it's something that makes the story make more sense than it did before, or it helps the story structurally in some way, then I'm all for it. But most of the retcons that we get here feel more like they happened because Hickman couldn't be bothered to find another way to tell his story. For instance, Galactus apparently came to Earth about 400 years ago. This really doesn't fit with a Galactus who acted like it was the first time he saw Earth way back when he was first introduced in the Galactus trilogy in the 1960s, or how Nathaniel Richards and Howard Stark are S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Now, I don't read enough of Iron Man or Fantastic Four to know much about Stark and Richards' backstory from before this book, but I'm pretty sure, even as much of a noob as I am here, this retcon still doesn't fit with what came before, and what comes since. As of now, all the talk about the Iron Man comics is that Kieran Gillen is revealing that Tony Stark is not biologically related to Howard Stark, and that Howard was involved with some kind of weird alien intelligence. This is the real problem with retcons. When people love comic books very much, they sometimes like to pretend that the Marvel Universe, for example, is a real universe. So they like to read all of the appearances of, say, Howard Stark, and pretend that they all fit together, and when you read them all in a certain way, you have a snapshot of his life. But when two pieces don't fit together, such as Stark as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and Stark getting Tony from a weird alien, then that breaks the illusion that we value as fans of this world. It doesn't specifically bother me in this case since I don't really care about Iron Man, but I can definitely see this bothering other people. Overall, I enjoyed this book a great deal. I wish that more output from Marvel and DC was this creative and innovative, and was juicy enough to make me crave the next volume so much like this book did. I highly recommend this story to longtime Marvel Comics readers and someone who has never read a Marvel comic but is looking for something to fill their brain with fun things for a little while. So that's about all I have to say here, guys. I hope this review found you well, and if it did, I encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another review. Until then, have a great day.